you for allowing us to pay tribute to Daddy Allan. You have our condolences. Our heart is with you. And surely we're here for you. No worries. Guys, again, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a minister, so please bear with me. I'm normally accustomed to DJing, so I can't do all that stuff here, even though Allan would probably be like, yes. But yeah. For those of you that don't know, if you don't mind, from my left to your right, if the family members would stand and introduce themselves, or you can stand. Isaiah
Williams, Allan, son, one of the sons.
Bahia
Carson, one of the daughters, and then streaming, they were unable to be with us, but you have Deandra, Tyrone, and Isna. Hey guys.
Terrell
Thompson, one of the youngest sons.
Mika Hughes, eldest daughter. And we have her own stepdaughter and eldest daughter.
Allan Williams,
I'm G.
I'm Sahira, one of his grandchildren.
I'm Oscar's son. I was married to this.
Josh Humphreys, son-in-law.
Thank you, Malika. Are there any other, I see Solomon's children. Oh, I see more grandchildren. Of course, I see Steve. Where is he?
I'm the legitimate son.
Oh, you mean another one? What? We see granddaughters as well. Again, guys, I apologize. This truly is not traditional, but we were just trying to, for those of us that are streaming and for those that don't know who the rest of the family are, we were trying to introduce some of them to you. I see grandchildren over to my left as well as grandchildren in the rear as well. Quick question for Salman? Okay. Guys, just to go over a quick order of the service, we will have just gone through the welcome. We will have a musical selection, a poem reading by Ms. Carter, the poet, a video tribute, another musical selection, of course, reflections by family and friends, and words of comfort, followed by, of course, fellowship. And we will be dining at the Golden Corral Buffet in Conyers. And if you, if you look at your programs, you'll also see pictures that we will be, but the intention was to have these streaming on the television, but unfortunately, as this was a last-minute production or service, we are unable to complete them in a timely fashion, but before we do complete, we will have all of them shown. We have well over 300 pictures. Also, if you was look in your programs, you will see that there's a barcode, which is also of the poem, One Love by Jalil Gibran. We see more grandchildren joining us. Okay, the first part of the program will be a musical selection by Daryl, which is a family friend. No? Okay, by Daryl.
Hello, everybody. To me, this is a grand occasion. I just met his daughter, who's my cousin, and she was telling me that Mr. Williams, he was a musician. He loved music, and he loved jazz. And you know, like he said, it's going to be a celebration. And I was raised in the church, you know that, you know. And every musician that I met, it seems like everything's intertwined, you know. And once I never got to meet him, but it's strange how her birthday is the same as my birthday. And, of course, she's younger than me, but, things, how things kind of fold and work together. And when I spoke with her, I could feel his spirit. It was a free spirit. And, I thought about all the good things that he possibly did, and I didn't even know him. I thought about all the good things that he could do for people, because music will take you everywhere. You can be humming something, and I'll be bouncing my head like I was watching this young gentleman right here. Little stuff that I would play. People, it just tends to gravitate to you, or you may not like it. And I know over his life period, he's done a lot of music, he's listened to a lot, and he's shared a lot of feelings, both verbally and just spiritually, with a lot of people. And in our daily life travel, I was speaking with her, and she was saying, well, I'm even supposed to be up. I'm even supposed to be up right now. And I said, who told you that? So there's a lot of things that we think we're supposed to do. You have to watch and go back and check and see, who told me I'm not supposed to do this? Or who told me I was supposed to do this? And what does your spirit say? And you'll find out that there's things in your life that you wish you could do that you haven't did. And there's some things that you've done that you wish you hadn't did. So there's a moment in your life that I call left out. This is an original piece, I call it inspirational, and it's a piece called Left Out. Things that you wish you could do, or things you don't like, you're going to take them out, pluck it out. I wish he had better hair. But you can't do nothing about it. And then there's a time in our life where we want to do more than we plan to do, but we can't get to it. So this song is called Left Out. I hope it touched someone, and it deals with the rhythm. So at sometimes in our lives, we'll be in a steady pace of rhythm, and then sometimes something interrupts it, and it seems like you off balance, So this song has some off balance, off beats in it, and it'll make you feel a little something. Sometimes you hear something going over and over, just like your life. Repeat, every repetitions, you get up every day, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Oh man, I'm tired of it. That's repetition. So left out, what do we want left out, and what do we have left out that we want to do before we go to our peaceful place? So the song Left Out. I hope I'm not too loud, baby. I like loud music. So everyone, please bear with me. Here it is. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do have your program, I would like to read from the program. The obituary written by a collaboration of all the family. Allan C. Williams, April 23rd, 1945, January 14th, 2024. Allan Curtis Williams was born April 23rd, 1945. He was a beloved husband, father, brother, uncle, grandfather, and great-grandfather. With only a 10th grade education, Allan overcame challenging obstacles as a young man that led him to become the self-taught entrepreneur. He was He was incredibly determined to be his own boss. For those of us that knew Allan, we knew he was. In the early 80s, Allan started his own painting company named Allan Williams and Sons, which he grew to have over 40 employees. He later created First Impressions Restoration Services and obtained hundreds of contracts from State Farm, Travelers Insurance in states Ohio, Florida, and Georgia, and other contracting jobs. Allan believed, lived, and trusted his words. You never get a second chance to make your first impression. Allan was a painter by trade. Through his trade, he was able to develop and master other carpentry skills, such as rebuilding his home, which he took much pride in. His painting skills extended to the canvas, where many family portraits and other paintings are seen throughout his home. Leather crafting was something he started in the 70s, where he would craft shoes and other leather goods. Making jewelry for family members and friends was often sold at various spoken word events. Allan loved poetry, playing his flute along with some of his favorite music icons. Mainstream jazz was his favorite genre of music, among the likes of John Coltrane, Miles Davis, Bobby Humphries, and Yusuf Lateef. Allan's connection to the African roots was known in everything that he did. Gardening brought comfort, as he built a flourishing sky garden off his deck, which allowed him to enter a meditative state, which allowed him to enter a meditative state as he enjoyed the beauty of God's creation around him for such a serene environment. Allan's strength comes from his children. He loved talking about the accomplishments of his children. Through his smile, conversation, and gestures, you could see the radiance of how immensely proud it made him. He was a loving grandfather who loved sharing words of wisdom. Allan was by far one of the most intriguing men you would ever meet. He stood firm in life as well as in his belief. If you were to match with his vast knowledge of the lexicon, you would lose easily. It was rare you would find him speechless, without researching the topic. That's interesting. There was comedy. There were a few times, this paragraph, this whole book. There were a few times his humility would make way for an apology. His in-depth conversation, from spiritual, political, to stories, to comedy, would have you mesmerized, laughing, or rolling your eyes, depending on the audience. If his jokes or stories were not funny, you would find yourself laughing at his robust laughter. Allan was fluent in 3 languages: English, sarcasm, and French. Of course, you do understand it, excuse my French, which was a common thing for many people back in the day. Excuse my French. I never knew why they called it French though, but which he offered no excuses. We believe he had a PhD in French from the School of Hard Knocks. Allan was very fruitful. His presence is missed by all who love him. Allan leaves to cherish his memories, a devoted wife of 31 years. Velma Williams, children, Deandra, Derek, Hiram, Solomon, Velvet, Vivi, Isna, Mika, Izine, Jamboree, Anissa, Bahia, Terrence, Malika, Josh, and Terrell. Siblings, Johnny, Barbara, Eugene, Barbara, and Marjorie, Robert, and a host of nieces, nephews, and friends. Allan's legacy will continue to live on as there are so many as there are as many as 25 grandchildren and a host of great-grandchildren. He has imparted words of encouragement into their lives. Preceding his death were his parents, Georgia and Billy Glenn, father, Leroy Jordan, his son, Ibrahim R. Williams, his brothers, Danny Glenn, David Glenn, and Chester Jordan. Next, we will have a poem reading by Miss Carter, the poet.
Unfortunately, she has black tire, but she set the form and before we do.
Thank you. Miss Jordan Malika Humphreys.
Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize. The last time I read a poem, I was 8. So, Isna, please do this with me. In Africa. It's a pleasure to do it with my land, for my land. You gotta get my heart beating. I hear it. Lending love and light to a loved one who is now leaning closer to the less fortunate because she has to literally learn how to let go of someone who she's literally latched onto her entire life. Lessons from a legend who contributed to her existence. Do you understand what it's like to lose someone who's responsible for you living? A weight that you don't even want to live with. A lifetime of lectures that you'll no longer be able to listen to. Yo, life without a parent is different. Trust me, I know the feeling. Grief can be very painful, but to be absent from the body means to be present with the Lord. So you may have lost a person, but you gained an angel. It is so.
On the back of the program, there's a coin, there's a QR code. And I'm going to take this time to play this. The poem is by Khalil Gibran. So we have Bluetooth. Oh, it's inside? It's inside. Khalil Gibran. You guys hear it? Love. When love beckons to you, follow him. ways are hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shape them into clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you into himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you into your appliance. And then he assigns you to a sacred fire that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All of these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into a seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and take not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor will it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love, for if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love, it must needs have desires, then let these be your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love. And to bleed willfully and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at evening tide with gratitude. And then to sleep with a prayer for love in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips. That was one of Dad's favorite poems from Khalil Gibran.
Allan, the man, the father, the husband, the grandfather, the grandchild, the great-great-grandfather. This is a celebration of life. He would not want anyone to be sad. He would want everyone to, this is a joyous occasion. For this man, he lived a well life. And in this life that he lived, which was, look at everyone here that is for him. And so we're just gonna, even though we have this order of service, we're just gonna follow it a little bit different right quick. We're going to do the video tribute, but before we do that, I wanna go ahead and do another musical selection. And while we're doing that musical selection, I would like you guys to look at the program with pictures of everyone that was in his life, a part that he played, the seat that he had. So while we're doing that, please do that.
thank you. Guys, at this time, we will be watching a video tribute. The sound is somewhat low, so I brought the microphone over to hopefully be able to amplify it. If you could stop it for me. Guys, we apologize. We're going to Bluetooth to the sound system over here so we can amplify the sound. This is loud.
There you have it. There you have it.
Hi, Daddy. I just want to say I love you. Thank you for the many years that you've been my dad. And I'm sure all of us can say the same. Thank you for showing me how to be an entrepreneur. Thank you for teaching me how to stand and not fall for anything. You always ask me, what is the song in my heart, or do I have a song in my heart? The song in my heart on the day that you transitioned was, what a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Heaven and earth adore him. Yes. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for my amazing siblings. First is me, then Garrett, then there's Hiram, then there's Solomon, then there is Bisma, then there's Ibrahim, Isaac, Amasa. Then we have Behir, Malika, and Terrell. And we're going to be okay. We're going to be there for each other continually through all of our imperfections, because there's only one perfect person, and that's Christ our Savior. I'm glad and happy that you are able to spend time with each and every one of us. It doesn't matter when, where, what year, what time of day, you had a chance to lay your eyes on each and every one of us, as well as your grandchildren. I'm going to end our conversation with, I love you, Daddy, and then you always say, I love me some of you. Mwah.
Hello, family. Sorry I couldn't be there. I'd like to be there for you guys to, for us to bask in each other's presence, but unfortunately, here's a video version of me. We'll all have to band together from this point. It's great to see everyone. I hate that we have to follow up on this occasion. But there will be direction. We're going to send out, updates as the oldest. We get a committee who will be in charge of sending me information and how we handle family disputes, as everything will go through me from this point. I'll just start delegating roles from this point on. What to say, but we're going to keep it smiling, we're going to keep it full of love, and we're just going to keep moving on. We'll probably set up an annual dues or something that you'll send me monthly as well.
Just got a call from my sister talking about, you gotta do a 30-second piece and something nice about us. I only spent 30 seconds with her my whole life. I ain't doing this. Alright, I'm gonna set the record straight. They said her pops was a Rolling Stone.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
Stone was too small. He was on Rolling Stone.
That's who you was. That's who you was.
You know how to get it in. This is why we got so many of us. One thing you can't deny is his skill set. The man was creative, artistic, and he left a piece of all of that with us, which is why my company is able to thrive, and why all of my brothers and sisters have something great in them. So regardless of how you feel about him, he did something real good through all of my siblings, and a piece of him will always live forever. Yeah, ain't that all I'm gonna say.
Well, this is a moment in time that I did not want to see, but I knew one day would come. And I'm so grateful to be able to say how honored I am to be the child of Allan C. Williams. It's been a pleasure seeing and hearing all of your wonderful stories. May you tell the angels all about it when you get there.
Hey, Dad, I love you, and you will be greatly missed. I appreciate you. I appreciate the teachings, spiritually and physically. And I say this to say that you never passed a chance to spare that rod when I was younger, which to this day, I greatly appreciate it because it's taught me and something that I live by. Rules and consequences. Because it's
better to be chastised by a loving hand than the hand of life. And that's something that I'm passing on. Live life on life's terms.
Yeah.
Hello everyone. I really want to talk about my siblings. I am ecstatic to get a chance to build or forge relationships with each and every one of you. And I want to talk about how that benefited from the love of Christ. We all know he's an untraditional man, and if you take a look at the program we made for his obituary, it doesn't talk any about God and the love of Christ and forgiveness. And if we truly did not have that, we would have been so unable to come together in unity and honor our Father. And I'm so grateful for the forgiveness and the love of Christ. And it is a true testimony that God is real. And I want to acknowledge that because we did not acknowledge it, to honor him, his wishes in his memorial, but it has to be mentioned. Each and every one of you guys are here because of forgiveness and the love of Christ, that we were able to unite and be there for him in his final days. And he definitely benefited that each and every one of his offspring believes. And I want to say thank you, God. Thank you, God, because that is where our true strength comes from. I love each and every one of you. I'll see you today, and God bless us all.
So, you would want to go out and stand when I look a hot straight mess. But we're not going to talk about this, you know. It's going to be about you, so we want to keep it about you. You know, I met you when I was 20 years old. And it was a running joke with everyone that I knew, my friends, my family. They were like, Bahia, okay, it's a new year. Waiting for your new brother and sister to come along, because every year I met a new sibling. And it was such a blessing, it is such a blessing, that me not knowing my siblings at all until I turned 20, and then meeting each and every last one of them, it was like I grew up with them, and that was a lesson. That was a testament of the person that you are, the character that you have. And I'm just so blessed that I am part of the family. I love you. I love my siblings. I love everyone that was inherited and part of you, because without you, there would have never been a me. Until we meet again, love you.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Malika, which means queen. And I just wanted to say that I am the youngest daughter, didn't forget you, Terrell, of about 13 or 14 children, raised and or reared by our father, Allan. And I'm thankful to be a part of that number. I thought it was funny and befitting that he requested to be laid to rest standing up, so everybody in this world knows he stood for something. So in honor of our dad, I just request that all of us siblings stand, whether you're here physically and they're virtually watching and in heaven, to stand in honor of our dad. Representing who we are in this family and this generation that he has produced. You may sit down. Love you all. Thank you. That's it.
First and foremost, hello to everyone here and everybody in your respective places. My name is Toretta. Currently, I stay in Miami, Florida. I'm the youngest and the last, I believe. It's a long conversation we had where I didn't get a word in, but I'm gonna miss listening, man. You was a wise brother, you smooth. I'll miss the voicemails when you used to leave me like, hello, I'm just calling to hear your voice. Man, he's a deep brother, man. I wish we could have got more time. I love him.
Yeah.
Well, if you put on another thing and you start crying, all the doors get better. So, what are you looking for? Come on. Oh, yeah. Let's keep your cat. You want more snack? What you want? Okay, get out of that. Now, what's the code to this iPad?
Give him my pot. That's my pot.
Gold
Give
chain,
him my pot.
guarded, front.
That's my pot.
Looking like the epitome of
Give him
wealth.
my pot.
Well, on his way to church, he said he walked to church. He didn't take too far from the church. A man cried out from the bushes and said, "Please save me, please save me." So the Reverend stopped and he walked over toward the bushes and looked down and saw the man's blood running into the soil. And he said, "If I'm bleeding too bad, if I tried to help you, I would put blood on myself. But what kind of appearance would that be to my congregation? It would destroy his." He said, "So how do I know that God hasn't put this karma upon you? And it's the faith of God that may got you in the bushes bleeding. I don't want to interfere with your karma." And he turned away from him and continued his back to the church. And the man called out again. He said, "But Reverend, you know me. You know me." And the Reverend stopped and walked back a little closer, took another look at the man and said, "You blind-mouthed man, I know not you and you know not me. Now stop wasting my time with appeals for me to be compassionate toward your state."
That's your man.
Turn to go back to church. And the man hollered out a third time. He said, "But Reverend, it would behoove you to come and save me." And those words, Reverend turned back toward him and said, "Why would it behoove me to save you?" He said, "Because I am the devil. And if you allow me to die, you will lose your occupation."
The devil, that's your man. The devil, that is your man. That's your man.
If we would please, or could please, give a round of applause for Allan. Father Allan, we love you. We miss you. Of course, those were all of his children. We haven't had an opportunity to hear from his loving wife. If you would like to say something. But no words, hold on one second.
I just wanted to say it was a 31-year journey. There was never a dull moment. Al always had something to say and something to do. He will be deeply missed. And going forward, I'm going to just take one day at a time and let God give me wisdom for the rest of my life. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to open the floor up for comments, testimony, and tributes. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come and introduce yourself, sir. Sean. Come on up, sir. How you doing? All right, then. Eddie Kane. That's tribute.
First of all, my first name, my mama named me Mr. M-I-S-T-R. I didn't know what M-I-T. M-I-T-R. For kissing my last name. F-R-T. I'd like to tell. But here's the story that I got. No, I got it. Here you go. This is what I want to say. I'm scared. I'm real scared. I'm going to tell you something. Put my glasses on. So I can't see. And to the queen. Here's the list. First of all, my name is Mr. F-O-R-G. That's who I am. I'm retired. I'll make this quick. Here's the list. I'm married 45 years. I'm a good man. I'm a good man. Don't be looking at me like that. Don't be hold on, because And then I worked at a company. I wanted to tell stuff. I met him when I was walking down the street. I had no car, no money. He picked up. He's a constructor. College. Rich kid. Hold up. Big time. And he picked me up off the side of the road. And hold up. And took me down. And give me about 4 more minutes, y'all. Hold up. No. Because I love to talk. Here's the deal. And then he took me home. And we lived across the street from each other. Well, I had a wife. And here's the deal with him. You know, he'd always tell me, you ain't worth 2 cents. But here's the deal. This is not about the day to tell you how it was. I know him now, Miss Belmont, the maddest man, Lord I know. And I never met the children. He told me about all these children. He told me about today I would like to meet him, but here's the deal, Miss Belmont. My mama told me about, I'm 65, I'm retired, I'm good. Good. Miss Belmont said I touched him. So I'm going to get to this story. You know what the problem was with Mr. Al was with me? He told me, get off the phone. That's you. Hey, like the story is, y'all. Because I don't know him that much, but I've known them 10 years, at least 10 years. And the thing was, for me being retired, yada, my wife, I never had nobody, you know that, like my wife. You know what I mean? Because she said, oh, you got 2 more minutes. Hold up. You know what? Hold up. The deal is this. I was married 45 years. I had all the women in 45 years. Got me, hold on, I'm almost there. Don't take it from me. Out of all the years, with Velma and Mr. Al, next me and my wife, and hold on. Out of 45 years, imagine having a girlfriend and you ain't never met nobody.
Give it up. Thanks for those words of that.
Thank you, buddy.
Is anybody else up for? Steve. Mic check 1, 2, 3. Mic check. How everybody doing? Is this back on? Mic check 1, 2, 3.
This one sounds a little bit louder. Yeah, Steve.
Hey, how everybody doing? Today is Father's Day. Amen. Hey, first of all, you gotta excuse me because y'all don't, my zipper broke. So if you see that, just look over. Oh, it didn't stop. No, it ain't gonna stop. They try to stop, but I couldn't have it. But I want you, hey man, be quiet, man. You had your time, be quiet, boy. You got for me now. You're not gonna have no confusion in the situation. I want to tell the story how I became a part of this family. I was very defiant as a youth, and when it came time to me paying my debt to society, I ended up in prison, and I was in prison for 13 years of my life. And in prison, people give up on you. They turn their back on you. And you get out, society frowns on you. They never give you a second chance. They never give you a second chance. They hold it against you. They hold it over your head all those years. But I was at the church, and as I was pondering, thinking about my relationship with Al, I was thinking about how did I meet Al? What happened was I met Al through the church, and I'll never forget it. A man gave me a number. It had Al Williams on it. It said, "Hey man, we want you." He picked me out of the crowd. He said, "You're a very positive guy." He said, "I picked you." He said, "I want you to have this job." I called Mr. Williams, and I'll never forget it. I went to Southern Cal Mall in Atlanta on County Road, and I met Ms. Velman and Mr. Al Williams as an interview. He said, "You know the city?" He said, "Young man, do you know the city?" I said, "I know the city. I ran from the police a lot, so I know the city, sir. I know it. I really do." So I know. So he said, "I need you to drive and get us to the jobs." And that's how I started. Well, as I started working with this guy, he became a father figure to me. He became a person to me that when I felt down and I had problems, I could go to Al, and Al would talk, he'll tell me what to do or how to do. He'd give me his advice, some of the best advice ever. And it really blessed me. And I became his son. And I never left his side. Never left his side, over 20 years. I've been with Mr. Al Williams for 20 years. You know, Solomon, well, I tell you, you and your dad so much alike was awesome. You understand me? And I remember the times that y'all had, man, and I was fortunate enough to be there to witness that. You know, I was telling my brother, I was telling him, just last night, the thing that I really appreciate the most is that Al is in every one of you all. He gave y'all some powerful names, and every name means something. The Bible talks about a name. A name is a great name. A name, when you come to a name, it really exemplifies the personality of a person. Solomon, your name, boy, is powerful. I seen your name is powerful, my brother. You understand me? I seen I-Z. Got it. It's powerful, man. You know, Bahia, Malika, man, it's a blessing. I just thank God for allowing me to be amongst the family, man, to be able to express to you the love that I have for Al, and I always cherish it in my heart. I want y'all to know that. I love each one of you. God bless you.
Okay, I just wanted to say something really quickly and share one of my favorite memories about Al. So when Al and my mom were dating, like before they got married, you know, Al's a very unique person. He is definitely one of a kind, and he's so artistic and creative. It's just like something you've never seen before you meet him. He's like someone you never saw before, someone you never met before. And we used to, you know, I was 18, I think, and, you know, I was all out, you know, in the streets, as you do when you're 18. Then you'll come home and Al would be painting and playing the flute, and I was like so unwanted. But I'm saying this to say that he was such a unique person and so artistic and very unique. And one thing I learned from going through this situation and knowing Al and just knowing how he is Al lived his life. The way he wanted to live, he lived his life. And so that's what I'm going to take away from, you know, knowing him and just from this situation, is to live your life to the fullest and do everything that you ever wanted to do, because that's what he did. And also, you know, he gave us so many siblings. It was just me and my sister, and now it's all of us, y'all. So I just wanted to say that about y'all's father, and, you know, he really meant a lot to me in many ways. You know, he was a great father figure to me, and, you know, we love you guys.
Okay, I'm the second half of BB. Well, me and Al, we started off kind of rough. I'm a strong-willed person, and he's a strong-willed person. Ooh. But, you know, as I grew older, I started to think about him and his life. I started to learn a lot of things from him once I started to be unmad at him at some of the things I felt he was doing. And sometimes I think we let anger take over, learning what a person can be and what he can offer. I mean, he's an entrepreneur. We're all entrepreneurs. I'm not even his blood daughter. I hate saying that though because I feel like I am. He's been more of a father to me than my own father. We're all entrepreneurs. He used to have us making invoices for first impressions. We'd be answering the phone. First impressions, can I help you? It's hilarious to think about, but we did that. We learned a lot that way, and I thank him for that. I thank him for my new sisters and brothers. We're so funny. I'm looking at Solomon. When I had a baby, he gave my baby respiratory treatments. Remember Solomon? In the hospital. And Izine, Lord have mercy. Anissa is like a sister, so I'm very, very, very blessed to be here today. And I started to soften up with my mom. She loved that man, flat out. She loved him. She loved her some Allis jazz. I used to be coming in the house like, ooh, they tripping. But up in here. But, let's just be enjoying it. I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart the way you took care of my mother when we couldn't be here. Isna, if you're watching, girl, everyone, thank you so much. From my sister, bottom of our hearts, we really, really appreciate it. Izine, you've been a champ. We thank you so much, and you know we love you. Thank you, guys.
I want to say a couple things real quick. I love Dad. He shared a lot of stories, but I did ask him before he passed, did he have any regrets? And he said, my only regret is that I didn't have the chance for all my siblings, or your siblings, all my children to be under one roof. And I got to think about that. I said, Dad, it wouldn't be long before you reunite and jack you up. So can you imagine all 10 kids that we gonna strengthen numbers? So he ain't have a chance coming out. I said, nah, Dad, you ain't want that. You ain't want that. It wouldn't have been good for you. But there's a couple things that he said that he told this story that was real profound. As you know, Dad was a painter. And one of the stories he told me is that when he went to Florida, he looked up in the Yellow Pages and found the biggest painting company. And he just grabbed his paintbrush and showed up for work. And I guess he tried to blend in with the crowd. But the foreman recognized, he's like, I don't know you. Who are you? He says, I'm a painter, sir. He says, I'm sorry, I won't have no more work for you. He says, I tell you what, if I do not outperform your best painter, then you can have my service today for free. But if I do, I just ask that you pay me my worth. You have nothing to lose. Well, Dad got hired. That's a lesson to say that, hey, if there's a will, there's a way. Do not accept no for an answer, and do whatever you got to do to make something happen. And that was real profound. So I was like, wow, okay. And that's where I get it from, and a lot of the siblings get it from. No, I will not, never accept no. I'll rethink it until I get that yes. There's another story that I remember. I remember every now and then, Dad used to take us, me and Ibrahim, through Fort Lauderdale and see these huge houses. One day, we actually got up to a house and stopped. And these gates opened up, and at that age, it looked like these gates were like 20 feet tall. And this couple came out, the man started talking to Dad, and the lady took us and started going throughout the house and looking at the pools and seeing how magnificent these folks lived. And I told Dad that experience, and he said, oh yeah. One day, he saw, as he was driving down, he saw that one of the gates needed painting. So he contacted the owners and said, listen, I will paint your gate because I'm a painter. And I just ask that you allow my boys to see how y'all live. This is pre-internet, okay? So as a kid, all I saw was my immediate surroundings. But when I saw how they lived, that opened my eyes up as a kid to say, wow, there's something other than what's around me. And of course, that the owners of the house had other rental houses and they hired them. So that right there showed me that exposure is everything for young minds. So as we as parents, and this goes on to the generations, like expose your children to something that he didn't have a lot of means at that time, but he let us know. And that's our responsibility as parents, is to expose our children to something greater, because young minds are great. And again, that chastising works out too. Rules and responsibilities. I don't miss those, Dad. I don't miss those. And the example he said, just being firm in your beliefs. Just stay firm in your beliefs. So I appreciate you, Dad. I love you. And I'm going to see you again.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anissa, one of Dad's daughters right now. I wanted to share this story when I was young. I used to call home and say I was sick. Probably did it about 5 or 6 times a year. And every time I called, I knew the home number and I knew the office number. And when I went to the office, I'd be like, can you call my dad or my mom to come pick me up? And they'll hand me the phone and he'd be like, well, baby, I'm out working. I can't come get you now, but do you think you could stay? And I'm like, no, Dad, I don't feel good. Come get me. He said, well, I'll be on my way. And I'm just here to say, every time I called, he came and got me. He didn't make me stay at school. He came and got me. And as soon as he came and got me, he'd be going to get something to eat, because that was one of the things he loved to do, feed you. And he'll be like, you're hungry? I'm like, mm-hmm. He said, I thought your stomach was hurting. I said, it feel better now, Dad. You know. So that was our one-on-one thing that we did. And to bring it full circle, I came here to visit him, and he was having issues with going to dialysis. And I said, Dad, do you want me to take you to dialysis? He said, yeah. Took him to dialysis, met with the nurses, and it was like a role reversal. And he was so proud to have me there. And when the nurses came, they came with their arms folded. I said, ooh, and I'm a nurse, and I said, oh, he been giving them a hard time. So we sat down and talked. I talked to the nurses, and then when she got comfortable, she let her arms relax, and we had a conversation, and we were all on the same page, and he was supposed to do dialysis that day. And then he said, you know, I just don't feel good today. And I said, really, Dad? But, you know, we're here at dialysis. And he's like, no, I just don't feel good. It's inside. I don't feel good. I want to go. And I said, let's go. And I took him home, and his whole spirit changed. You know, he was literally looking real frail on the way to the appointment. But on the way home, he picked up his step. We got out the car and gave Dad a little money. His whole attitude changed, and I said, wow. Here I go, get an opportunity to be the support he needed, the same support I needed as a child, to know that he had my back and he came, he didn't ask no questions, he just came and got me. And I can honestly say I probably wasn't sick. I just didn't want to be there. And I related that to what was going on in his life at the time. And I just wanted to share that, the whole fond memory, and being able to say, wow, here I am, was able to offer that to him as well. All right, thank you guys.
Hi everyone. Steve said that our names had great meaning. So I'm going to say what my name means, what they told me it meant. Bahia, don't you start softly. The epitome of femininity, beauty, and grace, voila, all in one. So
and I actually embodied that. But I didn't have the stories growing up of, like ostracizing and anyone else making me leaving. But what I did have is that even though I grew up in a loving home, I had a mother and a father that had treated me as his own. But I knew I was missing something. I knew there was something. I'm like, and my mother would not talk about my dad or anything. So I always wanted to know who he was. So as a child, I was like, I'm gonna know who my dad is. She was like, stop it, no. And then I'll go write letters and put it on her bed and say, I want to go see my dad, give him this. She didn't have contact with him, but then I decided I was gonna run away outside in the closet because I wanted to see him. And then Malika got in trouble. She used to always get in trouble for me. But when I did meet him, it's like I didn't miss anything. It's like I grew up with him because I had Velma and I had all my siblings there. And then the stories that you all told, the stories that I even on my own made with him as an adult, it was like, oh, I was right here. Even though I wasn't, I was right here. So he meant a lot to me. He was there, he was present. The time, I know you all say, y'all wish, you better be glad you didn't grow up with him because like how Isaac said, because he sure enough didn't spare that rod. I was like, he didn't, but he never said a mean word. All he did was just give me love. And I was so full of love. And he always wanted to see us. He always wanted to see the kids and grandkids. And my regret is that I didn't see him more, that I didn't talk to him more. But I can talk to him now. He's here, so I have no issue with that. But one thing that I do want to say, because I'm actually experiencing this now, because I have 11 kids, and the majority, a lot of them are here now. And what I do want to say is what I experienced before. And me being younger, living my own life, doing my own thing. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm older. And now I have grandkids. And now I want to see my kids more. Are y'all listening? And I don't. And so now I'm in my parents' space where I'm like, they're like, okay, come on over and see me. And I want to see you. Dad would always call, hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? What's going on in your world? Grace me with your voice and your presence and tell me what's going on with you. He would leave messages and he would say that all the time. And I just want to say to you guys that life is short. You never know when your last day is. And so live a life well, full, like he did. Live it to the fullest that you have no regrets. I mean, he may not have been the most wealthiest guy financially, but with every last one of you, his generation, you all can do so much. I look at how he was good with his hands and he was artistic. Every last one of my siblings are artistic. I think I'm the most out of all of you all. I'm just playing, no, because y'all got me beat. But I look at my kids now. Oh, you want me to sit down, Malika? Why you told me to cut off? Oh, I'm sorry. Like I look at even to the next generation, which are my children. I see my son Solomon and my son Delon, how they are very good with their hands. Like Solomon's an electrician. Delon, he can just build anything and do anything. And I look at everyone else that's been part of me and the things that they're doing, they're able to accomplish. And that, I look at that, that's part of me. And that came from my dad. So I just want to say, Dad, I love you until we meet again. And that's heaven, because I'm going to heaven. So until we meet again, I'll see you.
All right, my mom wanted to say something. All right, go ahead.
Hey, family. I just want to share a funny story. Recently, before I left, I had gone and I had called Mom and I asked her if they had eaten, and asked Mama what she wanted to eat. So I think it was either Captain D's or JJ's fish, I don't know, whichever one. But she said that Daddy had not called. She didn't hear from him. He had been gone a long time. So I got nervous because I remember one time Daddy got lost and I had to go get him and lead him to his friend's house. And he was so embarrassed, but I told him, don't be embarrassed, it happens. But this time I thought the same thing had happened. So I'm up here looking for Daddy and something told me to go to Dairy Queen. Because all he wanted to eat was ice cream. And sure enough, I pull up and I see his car and Daddy's eating ice cream, trying to duck in the car. And I was like, Daddy. And he looked up so embarrassed, trying to eat his blizzard. And then I said, man, I was coming to get you one, but I ain't getting you one now. And so I turned around, and then I went and got Velma's food, and then I got to the house and told her where he was, and then he finally came home. I'll just say this. Daddy was one of the biggest kids, and I don't even like saying kids. He was childlike in nature, very sensitive, and I don't think many knew how sensitive he was behind that hard shell exterior. And I think much like many of us, we put on a good front that we're just so strong, but there's a softer side inside, like a turtle. And so for anyone who ever took to heart Daddy's harsh words or bluntness, just know behind it was a soft turtle with a soft heart. And that's it.
What's up, y'all? It's Jihee again. I just want to say something about my papa. You know what I'm saying? He's a strong man. Every time I go to his house, you know, I get that little handshake where you squeeze your hand. You know what I'm saying? He called me muscles, but he ain't make me feel like it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's one thing around Papa. I also remember one time I went to Papa's house and I ain't tell nobody. And I was trying to put him on to like music. So I was like teaching him about like Lil Baby, Future, stuff like that. That turned into a lecture about like, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, me and Papa, he was pretty cool. I know I didn't go over there a lot, but you know, when I did over there, you know, we got the naps in, you know, grandma make the macaroni, you know what I'm saying? So it was always the experience going to Papa's house, so yeah.
Okay, I'm Sahira. I'm one of his grandchildren, and one thing I remember about Papa is his extensive vocabulary. For 8th grade education, it's very wide. He found different ways to tell us that, or me in particular, from my experience, how beautiful I was. And I can't remember the word that he told me. It was one of the last words he told me before he stopped speaking. And I was just like, Papa, what does that mean? And he was like, it means you're exceptionally beautiful. You're a sight for sore eyes. And I was just like, oh, thank you, Papa. And that was one of the last things he told me. Other than that, going over his house over the years, you have to prepare yourself because you're probably going to be there all day listening to him talk, telling jokes, listening to jazz, listening to him play his flute. Just life, but it was enjoyable, and I'm glad I have those memories. I'm glad I have my family that is a representation of who he was as far as creativity and just that love and support. He was always there to listen and just be a guiding voice through your life. It didn't matter what it was, he was always there, and I will miss him.
This wasn't my favorite part of the day. I didn't really want to say anything today, probably because I was searching for stories for so many years. I envy when I hear all you guys say what you remember, the relationships y'all have with him. And I don't know if I just buried it or I don't remember any stories. That I was searching. That's why I didn't get up. I was like, wait a minute, what moment did I have? Okay, let's think. I remember being embarrassed by him one time. We went out to get something to eat, and we saw a really attractive girl at getting some food, and he said something that made me cringe a little bit. He said, "Hey, you're about as beautiful as the sun shining on the now." And she was like, "Excuse me?" The scary part is he repeated it. So I remember being embarrassed at that moment, like, oh my God, he did not, that's not Mac and Dallas. Excuse me, he was frozen in the 70s. He just got thawed out. But that's one thing I remember about Pops. But here's the thing, guys. When I start to think about my relationship with my father, it was tumultuous. Everybody knows that. Probably because we were so much alike, so stubborn. Neither one of us would give. I think I would try to reach out, wouldn't get what I wanted back. He would try to say a few things to me. It didn't work out. But I think one thing I can appreciate about him, his absence in my life is not a detriment to my life. His absence in my life is the reason why I'm thriving. And whatever he did, maybe he knew what he was doing by not necessarily being in my life like he was. He knew when he used to spank me when I was little. I was like, when I get big enough, I'm going to spank your ass. That's what I used to tell him that. I mean, but what happened was, I think that he and I got this mutual respect over the years. Even though we didn't connect like we wanted to, I always loved my dad. I hid it, I buried it, I wouldn't let nobody know. I was like, whatever, I don't care. But deep down, I cared. I always cared. I always wanted him. I always wanted him in my life, but I compartmentalized that, packed it away. But the truth is, I think my frustration with him over the years was that he wasn't there and that other people had stories. I didn't. But one thing he did for us all, he left us all each other. And I could see a piece of him in every last one of us. And so when you spread your seeds or be fruitful and multiply, it's just like a tree. An apple tree is an apple tree. You never look at it different than another apple tree. So when he spread his seeds, it's all part of him. So when I see my sisters, I see my brothers, and I see us all, thriving, winning, indirectly, he has everything to do with it. Whether it's directly or indirectly, he has everything to do with our success. Yep. So my whole thing is moving forward. No, I'm not going to be depressed or frustrated with him or upset anymore. Why? He did a great thing. Only thing we can do is love the parts he left behind, and that's like honoring him to the fifth power. Like, thank you for bringing me into this world. Like, thank you for letting me feel anything, because without his presence, I wouldn't even be mad. So I wouldn't be anything. So you got to appreciate that. So all I can say is let's love each other. Let's do what we can do to be the best version. I think that's what he would want, for us to be a better version of what he think he was. So that's all I got to say to it.
Guys, it's definitely getting close to that time. I would like to read the announcements before we adjourn. The family of the late Allan C. Williams wishes to express sincere thanks and appreciation for all of the flowers, phone calls, words of encouragement, and other expressions of love during our time of bereavement. A special thanks to the staff of Gentiva Hospice. Your kind expressions of sympathy will always be remembered and cherished. There are not enough words to express our gratitude to everyone who was there for the family when we needed you most. This concludes our homegoing celebration. I'm sorry. The Lord's Prayer, we will, if you will, also say in unison with us. Baby sister Malika will be leading us in this prayer. Thank you.
I just want to take 1 minute to say something before we start the Lord's Prayer, and I ask that we all say it together in unison and stand. But I met Father Allan at 19, and I'm an entrepreneur as well as everyone else in here. And I had a pretty traumatic childhood. I lost my brother at 5 years old that I was blamed for. And I blamed myself. And so being responsible for a life leaving here is really, really devastating. So I lived my life trying to take care of everybody else. And I said that to say many of you all don't understand me. And I'm okay with that, so don't worry about having to call and everything. But what I will say is I was able to be by the side of my husband, who's my best friend, mom, as she was passing. And I was able to be by my sister-in-law's side, and I was able to be by so many other who was passing away side. And that was my way of being there as they were being promoted to eternity. And that was also my desire for my own father. And I remember I was getting up, and I was told that he wasn't doing well, and this may be the end. I didn't feel that in my spirit. I left my house, went to him, and I felt like he was dying on the inside, like, just kind of depressed and stressed. And we spoke for a long time. I spoke with Velma because she was going through a lot too. It was a lot to deal with. And so I offered words of encouragement. I was trying to go out to every farmer's market there was to find something healthy. And before I left there, he said, I want to live. I want to live again. And I said, I'm so happy to hear that. That did something in my spirit. And then the rest of the time, he was going through the transition. And then before I came back to the house, I heard in my spirit that heaven is a prepared place for prepared people. And that's what I felt like God was giving me, that peace for our Father, because he held on for a long time. Y'all know that. To go that long without dialysis and without eating and drinking, that ain't human. That's God. And so that's what I remember and leave here with, that I was able to be by his side. That's why it was important to me to hold his hand, to be there with him. And I told him some things in his ear. And it was important for me for him to accept Christ. And important to me to tell him that heaven is a prepared place for prepared people. So keep holding on, because God is preparing you. He's preparing that place. So I truly believe in my spirit that he made it to that prepared place. And I just wanted to say that. For those who can, if you can stand and say the Lord's Prayer with me to end. And it's okay if you don't know the words. Prayer will always be in your heart. Okay? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and evermore. Amen, and so it is.
Just another reminder, we will be dining, for those of you that would like to join us, at the Golden Corral in Conyers. The address is in the program, Golden Corral Buffet, 1350, Georgia 138 in Conyers. All meals courtesy of Allan.